When it comes to superhero artists who've drawn as a side hustle, we have Bruce Timm, who used to draw girls that changed our taste in women while doing his own thing on the side. Greg Land, who traced questionable scenes of adult movies and put them straight in his comic books. And Frank Cho would make fun of the genre in a sexy way while getting himself in trouble every once in a while. The truth is, artists integrating their fantasies in a comic is a story as old as the creation of comics itself. In fact, one of the most legendary superhero artists in the 60s and 70s, Steve Ditko, was roommates with the pioneer of arts, Eric Stanton. And that dude later went on to create one of the first comics of Wonder Woman, Catwoman, and other female superheroes. But even though we do have a lot of freaky artists out there, there's only been one family who made a whole studio dedicated to creating these beautiful arts, and that's the Bendis brothers. Now, if you've read any of the 2000s Birds of Prey, Justice League, or Supergirl comics, you know how popular Ed Bendis' art used to be. And him being a Brazilian, he knew how to draw a woman with that extra spice, which gave him the reputation he had. You see, back in the 2000 era, DC was desperate to temporarily boost their viewership to put itself ahead of Marvel. It had just a thing for that, and that's what gave him sort of a celebrity status for the time, and that's what inspired his brother to follow his footsteps. Yeah, his brother was a bit more unapologetic with that stuff. But after a while, even though DC kept on offering him more works and insisted on having him around, he just wasn't interested in working with them anymore, since he felt like his freedom as an artist was limited by the rules. Now, remember how Frank Cho realized that he'd make way more money on his own website than working for the big two? So much so that even after his controversial drawings of Cammy and Gwen Stacy, his site's viewers just increased by a ton? Well, Ed took a page out of Frank's book and decided to, you already know what happens next. Ed even took it a step further by going full-on hentai mode and creating a Kickstarter comic series called Nina and Ariel, which is basically Birds of Prey, but with no limitations of how new characters can be. Jokes aside though, despite his unapologetic he genuinely inspired a lot of artists to draw their first comic, and even has courses on how to draw step by step. Also, the fact that him, his brother, and his sister have all become professional artists is something that a lot of people can look up to. But I'm curious to know what you guys think of it. Please let me know in the comments below, like and subscribe to all the good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.